discuss.
Do you want to talk about as it's unfolding the LA film critics, or?
Sure.
Yeah, they really went different ways, as always.
I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, you have this and you have the Boston. Boston went more with what so far kind of what everyone's going with so far, but LA really, as I said, would go in a different direction. They sure did.
Yeah.
Okay, so New York film. First of all, the New York Film Critics came out last week, and they named Zero Dark 30 Best Picture, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And was Bigelow Best Director?
I think so.
Yeah, Best Director and Best Cinematography as well.
Okay, and New York Film Critics Online just announced Zero Dark 30. And what's this thing with LA Film Critics Awards, which is just still going on right now as we're recording this?
Well, they have Best Foreign. We're waiting on that. But
we're waiting. Yeah, but they've already named almost everything else.
Yeah, Amour is Best Picture. Director is Paul Thomas Anderson. And Best Actress is a tie between Jennifer Lawrence and Emmanuel Riva for Amour. Joaquin Phoenix, Best Actor. But here's it's the runners-up that is really interesting. Dennis Levant for Holy Motors is the runner-up for Best Actor.
Yeah.
Best Director runner-up was Catherine Bigelow. It's fascinating. I mean, it's a really...
Jennifer Lawrence for Hunger Games?
No. For Silver Lining Playbook. I mean...
Oh, gosh,
yeah,
what am I thinking?
I mean, it was looking like... before today, it's really the Oscar race was looking between Lawrence and Chastain, as IndieWire put it. That so far that looked like, but I think Riva's definitely a. I would add that as a three-way race because this movie's getting nothing but incredible reviews.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
I've got the New York Film Critics in front of me. So for Best Picture.
Go ahead.
It was Zero Dark 30, of course, Best Director, Zero Dark 30 as well for Catherine Bigelow. Best Actress was Rachel Weisz for Deep Blue Sea.
Which is another out of left field. I mean...
Yeah, completely. Best Actor, Daniel Day-Lewis for Lincoln. Best Supporting Actress, Sally Field for Lincoln, which was a little bit of a surprise. Some people were surprised by Supporting Actor, but I wasn't. Matthew McConaughey and they cited both Bernie and Magic Mike. Screenplay went to Tony Kushner for Lincoln. Cinematography to Greig Fraser for Zero Dark 30.
Mm-hmm.
Foreign language film went to Michael Haneke for Amour. First film went to David France for How to Survive a Plague. This nonfiction film went to Ken Burns, Sarah Burns, and David McMahon for Central Park 5. The best animated film went to Tim Burton for Frankenweenie. So it's possible this year that Tim Burton will finally win an Oscar.
And rightfully so for, I think, what is his best film. Oh, and the winner? Wow. Okay, the foreign language winner, Holy Motors. And the runner-up is Israel's Footnote. Wow. Okay.
Wow. Footnote. That was a great movie.
He was a good director. We talked to him. Hey.
Yeah.
So, but the LA Film Critics, their best picture is Amour?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And the runner-up was The Master.
And their best foreign is Holy Motors.
So hopefully Holy Motors will either they'll try to bring it out in more theaters, maybe. I don't know.
Is Holy Motors even eligible for a Best Foreign Film Oscar? I don't think it's in the list of
France.
It isn't.
Pick the Untouchables.
They have to. They have to. Each country has to submit their choice of a film to run, and France went with the Untouchables rather than, which was one of their biggest hits and definitely one of the biggest foreign language hits stateside this year.
Yeah.
Okay, National Board of Review. Here's their winners from last week that they announced. Best Film, Zero Dark 30. Director, Bigelow. Actor, Bradley Cooper, Silver Linings Playbook. Best Actress, Jessica Chastain. Supporting Actor, Leonardo DiCaprio for Django. Best Supporting Actress, Ann Dowd from Compliance.
That was a great choice.
Yeah, nice choice. Original Screenplay, Looper. Adapted Screenplay, Silver Linings. Animated Feature, Wreck-It Ralph. I don't know why they have this category, Special Achievement in Filmmaking, Ben Affleck and Argo.
I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that either.
I don't even know what that means, really.
Their best documentary, Searching for Sugar Man, which is also the movie that won the documentary
IDA award.
Yeah, last night. Best Ensemble, Les Miserables. Their top films of the year were Argo, Beasts of the Southern Wild, Django Unchained, Les Miserables, Lincoln, Looper, Perks of Being a Wallflower, Promised Land, which is the new Matt Damon movie, and Silver Linings Playbook.
Right.
Yeah, interesting. So I guess the big news amongst all of these, and it's something that all of them pretty much have in common, is Zero Dark 30. The stock on that has just skyrocketed.
No, it has, and it sucks. I don't think it's going to get it. It's only going to be New York and Los Angeles for December, and then in January it gets a wide release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Around January 12th.
Yeah.
So. I do find that irritating that it's always. Why is it always the movie that's no one can see for another month that
right.
these things? Like, that's so incredibly irritating to me.
I know it is. And what's even more irritating is movies that like Holy Motors, which only played around here for a week or two, and they get all these ratings, but no one gives them a chance, for even to go see them. And this is where I think a very strong argument for foreign films, and it's on demand. I would suggest that Sony Pictures Classics would really make a serious investment then in on demand for their foreign films.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, what do they have to lose? Really,
they have nothing to lose and everything to gain. I find this irritating, especially Holy Motors, which for us, it's this director's last film supposedly. So we should. Why not make an event out of it?
Here's something about Zero Dark 30. They screened for most critics last week, and the reviews came out, and they're all pretty much glowing. They say it's a very methodical movie that reaches a pitch at the end that is unrelentingly suspenseful. And they say that Jessica Chastain is definitely a star in it, and Catherine Bigelow is the real deal, without a doubt. And Jessica Chastain, if this gets nominated for a bunch of Oscars, which undoubtedly it will be, by the time the Oscars are announced in February, I think just right around the corner she has another movie out, that Mama, that horror
Mama,
movie.
Which
I like her a lot. Her a lot.
Yeah, she's great.
I really do. She's a great, versatile. She disappears to me. I mean, there have been movies I've seen with her that I don't realize it's her.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's interesting. What I've heard from some of the reviews about the Zero Dark 30 is she's made a movie that Michael Mann used to be able to make.
Well, it's a process movie.
Yeah,
and it's one of those All the President's Men style process movies,
yeah.
Which are movies just as a genre that I adore.
Right,
I love those movies.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, it would be very. I would like to see. I mean, I think from this point on, I think the movies left to see are the Haneke movie. Obviously, Django Unchained and Zero Dark 30 are really some of the last of the heavy hitters to see.
There's another thing I have to talk about the Haneke movie too. That movie has been around since Cannes. It won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. Why is it taking so long to come out? I mean, this is yet another movie it's been around for 8 months now.
Right. Yeah. It's
what
annoying.
The hell? It really is. It really is.
That movie strikes me kind of that movie's kind of the Blue Valentine of this year. In a way.
Yeah. Well, the Blue Valentine, did a similar thing. I just don't get it. What do they think they're doing? Do they really think that they're just drumming? I mean, how much desire to see the movie do you need to drum up?
Maybe it's just indicative of the amount of money that they have to release these specialty movies on a wider scale. and that money is probably they're better suited to use that money to promote to Academy.
Right. And they might be
release.
waiting very much for the critics' year-end best ofs, and especially someone like Haneke, who is a favorite, and they will wait that long.
Also, is it possible that there are just no screens available for them because
there's screens available. I mean, I can't believe there's look. Let's take the art house, the Bethesda Row art house near me, the Landmark. You have Hitchcock, Anna Karenina, A Royal Affair, and I forget what the other film is there. But that's eight screens. And Lincoln is there. So you don't even need to have Lincoln there because Lincoln's in wide release. I don't even understand why Lincoln is still there. And Anna Karenina you don't need on 3 screens, and in Hitchcock you certainly don't need. You can have that on 1 screen. That's more than adequate.
Okay. Well, it's not that. It's just their weird sort of award-centric.
Yeah,
it is. It's exactly that.
Meanwhile, the Oscars, the nominees for the Oscars don't get announced until Thursday, January 10th, which is pretty early. That means the Globes have to be announced. What?
I would say, wouldn't that be this Thursday?
Next week. Yeah.
This week they'll be announced. So
the Independent Spirit Awards were announced, and of course that ceremony happens the day before the Oscars on February 23rd. Their Best Picture nominees are Beast of the Southern Wild, Bernie, Keep the Lights On, Moonrise Kingdom, and Silver Linings Playbook. The Best Director, Wes Anderson, Ira Sachs, David O. Russell, Ben Zeitlin for Beast of the Southern Wild, Julia Locktev for The Loneliest Planet.
Mm-hmm.
Best Female Lead, Linda Cardellini for a movie called Return. A woman's name I'm not...
She was good in that. Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the lead actress in a movie called Middle of Nowhere. Jennifer Lawrence for Silver Linings, Mary Elizabeth Winstead for Smashed, and the lead little girl in Beast of the Southern Wild. Best Male Lead, Jack Black, Bernie, Bradley Cooper, John Hawkes, Thor Leinhardt for Keep the Lights On, Matthew McConaughey for Killer Joe. Killer Joe getting some love. Wendell Pierce for a movie called Four. Britt Martling, Helen Hunt, Lorraine Tressant, Ann Dowd, and Rosemary DeWitt for Best Supporting Female. Best Supporting Male, another nod for McConaughey for Magic Mike. Michael Pena, Sam Rockwell, Bruce Willis. So yeah, those are always interesting and a fun show to watch.
Oh yeah, it is
definitely. It'll be this is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. But we're seeing everything now. I mean, it looks like Zero Dark 30 is the big front runner.
Yeah,
a very fascinating thing is that. By the way, I'm rescinding my thing about Les Miserables because that I said a few weeks ago that it was going to take things. Because one big reason, even though I haven't seen the movie, is that I read that those reports that it was received with thunderous applause were erroneous.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was a lie, basically. So now, but also I read the Todd McCarthy did a review for it in Variety, and he's a very reliable guy. And he did not have very many good things to say about it. And in fact, the way he described it, I was like, "Oh no, I'm afraid of this now." If he said it's every scene is directed in close up or swooping camera shots, and there's never any far shots, and the camera is so close that he said that you could almost feel the breath fogging up the camera lens of the breath of the actors fogging up the camera lens. And I'm like, I hate when movies are directed like that.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, he said the cutting was very haphazard, and it just wasn't the emotional experience, plus all the music content.
So it could be this year's Phantom of the Opera, it sounds like.
Yeah, or Nine, or even Dreamgirls, for instance. Which all of those movies were touted before they came out. Especially in the wake of. We're still talking about the wake of Chicago.
Right, but none of them have ever been able to do what Chicago did. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we might have that here. I mean. Wow, okay.
We could possibly. I think that because the embargo lifted and all the reviews came out of it, and none have been superlative, So I think that's out. But Django, the reviews came out on that, and a lot of them did, and a lot of them like it very much. They say it's another exhilarating, ultra violent, ultra funny Tarantino movie, and people are raving about DiCaprio in the 3 or 4 reviews I read.
Yeah, no, he's getting. I think it looks like it's between him and now they're also Samuel L. Jackson is also people raving about his performance. So it could be any of these guys getting a Best Supporting Actor nod.
Well, Leo is like. I'm hearing stories about Leo, and Leo always wanted to work with Tarantino. And he was like, anytime you got a script, just let me read it, even if I have nothing that's good for me, and I just like your writing, let me read it. And then I read about Lincoln and his connection to Lincoln. And Spielberg would not make Lincoln without Daniel Day-Lewis, and Daniel Day-Lewis turned him down. And so he was telling Leonardo DiCaprio about this. And so DiCaprio called Daniel Day-Lewis, and then he called back Spielberg and said, okay, expect a phone call from Day-Lewis tomorrow morning at this time. He was essential in getting Daniel Day-Lewis on board Lincoln.
He turned him down, and this was way back in 2003 that this happened, or something ridiculously long ago.
Yeah.
And he actually said, it's going to take me a couple of years to get into this, to prepare for this.
Where did it all go?
Yeah, right.
That's sorry. I had to kick that.
No, he's great in the movie. You got to give
so
him.
Here,
he is, and I think he will be. Obviously, I don't know if I agree with a lot of the, IndieWire, had this article a couple of days ago, like what are the certainties of this award season? They say that Daniel Day-Lewis will bring home his 3rd Oscar. And while I say yes on the surface, I think that's true, I would not rule out a Bradley Cooper win. I really would not rule that out as a possibility. And I wouldn't rule, there are a couple of things I wouldn't rule out. It's not a sure thing. I don't think Lincoln is as sure thing as I think it will get every nomination possible, but as far as winning is a completely different thing.
I think for me, it is a lot for Daniel Day-Lewis.
It could very well be.
It's just that one of those things that's just going to look good, in the long run.
Well, sure, it's not going to be Brad Pitt for Killing Them Softly. That's for sure.